again, not understanding football. So anyway, it did push instead of a win. Should have been an easy win. But that's what happens. And the Jets actually scored. Well, see, that was easy because Miami's defense sucked. But again, Tagliabue did nothing yesterday. Had a nothing day. A couple interceptions. Oh, it was a good defense. Yeah, he doesn't show up. Anyway, then in college, just go mighty rough in college. Hit our lock. Our lock was Oregon. And they win 31-7. So that was lock number one. And let me get my coffee, and we'll talk about the rest of the picks. All right, sorry about that. So Oregon, I calculated. I didn't like the over because of Buglia, who sucked. He's not very good anyway, but we know that. We have Texas. They win 57-7. See, they needed the game to win, to get into the playoff, to win the thing, and this is what happens in college. They go crazy. I was surprised Oregon only won 31-7. But that's the difference when you're thinking it's an over game versus taking the team. Both those, I never thought about it as an over or under. I just said Texas is going to win and Oregon's going to win. Oregon's defense is really tough, and they with Bo Nix, so that's about the score I thought. But I didn't want to fuck with the over-under. I just wanted to go with take Oregon lane 7. Penn State wins 42-0. I didn't play that. Boise in the Air Force, Boise 27-19. I did like the under in that game, which was a 45. The score was 46 in a teaser. It's a winner. Missouri 48-14. I do have Missouri. Lane 2 or 3. They kill them. They're much the better team. Utah State, New Mexico. I liked the over in the game, but I didn't play it because of the quarterback situation. The backup came in, and he did just fine. So, again, it's an unknown. But, again, these are 2 over teams with a 59 over before the teaser. So, here's an 80. Here's an 85. That's the beauty of 2 over teams with 34 defenses. That's why I like those. Tulane beats UTSA 29-16. I don't mess with that. I liked UTSA, but I didn't mess with it because I didn't want to bet against Tulane. Hence why we look to bet against weaker teams. Iowa 13-10. It does amazingly. The over/under was 25, and it still didn't go over. Now you would have won in a teaser. I had under in the teaser 32. I would have played it, which it's just amazing how, a 13-10, how weak the offenses are in this type of climate, it's unbelievable. But I know I lost McNamara, and Nebraska lost their quarterback. So this is what happens. Strong defenses. 2 under teams, and had it been in the 30s, this would have been a lock under, but unfortunately it wasn't. We started the day with Oklahoma over, and it was over at halftime. My over was 57.5. It was 58 at half. It was 42-13. Then 69-45. They played a 114-point game. Toledo, I have 32-17 over Central, -3.5. Ohio 25-14. I like the under there, and it stayed under at 39. Memphis, I hit 45-21, playing against Temple, playing against the W so basically I was playing a high scoring team against the W team, and they won. And then Miami, I didn't play, 45-20 over BC. Had no idea. Miami's a B team, BC's an E team. Give up 28. Had no idea. So that is yesterday's action. Everything won. And the one I would have lost, UTSA, Texas San Antonio, I stay away from because there's too much risk with Tulane. And Tulane's been playing really shitty lately, so I was kind of surprised. They put a lot of pressure on Frank Harris, but where was this against Tulsa? So really don't understand it. Anyway, let's go through today's lines. So we start with our free pick. Ohio State, 3.5. Now it's 45.5, 46.5, somewhere in that neighborhood. That's our big noon game. It's 10 o'clock now. That's your free pick. Take Ohio State in the 9. So far, the rivalries haven't gone to the dog, but the A's versus A, the true A versus A. We've had Oklahoma, Texas. We've had Oregon, Washington. The dog is good in both games. The dog should be good here. I heard one guy, I think on Fox, Brady Quinn or something, what does he know, talk about trouble with the Michigan offensive line, and he's obviously not watching Ohio State this year, especially against his Notre Dame team. Their defensive line is much, much stronger, and they're much, much stronger against the run. That's why I like Ohio State. Not necessarily the revenge angle, but more that angle. And I think Ohio State wins the game straight out. With Harbaugh not there, I don't know how much that's going to matter, but it all matter. This offensive coordinator keeps crying on TV, oh, we won. We beat Penn State. I mean, when you hear that, I think the moment's too big for him here. So Ohio State's lost 2 in a row. We know we're going to get a good game from them. We don't know if it's good enough. But Michigan, due to their weak schedule, all we could see was against Penn State, who doesn't really have wide receivers. So that's kind of skewed. And then Maryland is a very weak team, and they barely beat Maryland. So we will see. I think I see Ohio State winning the game somewhere in the 20s. I do like the under, but when these games get emotional, all of a sudden, Katie bar the door, they have a big run. As you saw the Texas game, Oregon did stay 31-7 because Oregon just kind of put them to sleep. So anyway, I think Ohio State wins it, certainly with 9.5. It's a great bet. That's all we can do is make a great bet. All right. Louisville, 7.5, 49.5 to Kentucky. Kentucky really has gotten weaker. They really have a 33 defense. In Louisville, we saw how good they are. They're at home. They beat Notre Dame at Louisville. Strong defense. Louisville gets them here. UConn and UMass. UConn's now a 1.5-point favorite. And over under a 51.5. Both teams have a 39 defense. Both teams are weak offensively, but again, who are they playing? I don't know. I would probably take the dog in the over. I would take the over because their defenses are so bad that even a bad offense should be able to score on a weak defense. We see this with Hawaii. We see this with some of these other games that go way over because the defenses are so bad. In the Iowa-Nebraska game, you have two very strong defenses and weak offenses. Here you have weak offenses, but you have weak defenses. So that would make me think it probably goes over. UCF 13.5, 60.5 against Houston. Houston's pretty weak, 32 defense. UCF, very good running attack. The quarterback's not a good quarterback. He's a good runner, and they have a good runner, I noticed also. They seem to be better at home. They took care of my Oak State team at home, so I think that. Hey, Greg and John, good morning. I think UCF really nails them today. Duke 5.5, 41.5, down from 6.5. They got quarterback problems. Riley Leonard's out. Strong defense. Pitt, kind of a weak team. Also with the strong defense. I don't know. Duke's a B team. I think it's probably an under game, over under 40, 41.5, 42. I think this game will stay under. Indiana-Purdue, rivalry game. Purdue's now 5.5. Up from 4.5, 53.5. I mean, I think I'd take the dog here in the rivalry game. Just the way the rivalry works. You're going to get a good game from Indiana, and then how good's Purdue? They're both W teams with 30 defenses. So I think this game goes over also. I think I'd play it over versus Indy. Miami of Ohio, 4.5, 34.5, down from 5.5. And 35.5. So this is a low number. And I'm not sure why. Miami is an A team with the 16 defense. Their quarterback Gabbert's out. He's been out for a month, so they've used the backup. Ball State is an under team. They don't score, but they give up 25. I think this 34 is just ridiculously low. I don't buy it at all. I don't know. I don't really. I think I take Miami of Ohio here. They're only 4.5, and they're the A team. Northern Illinois, 19.5, 44.5. They're an under team, 20 defense. Kent is a Z team that just lost to fucking Ball State, 35-3, and Ball State's a Z team. Or Bowling Green, one of them. So I think Northern Illinois covers. You're talking 19. You're talking 13.5, 12. Just because Kent's so bad and their quarterback's questionable. He's probably not very good anyway. Their good quarterback went to UCLA. I just think Northern Illinois wins by 20 easily here. Just because Kent's so bad, they could win by more. Middle Tennessee, 3.5, 50.5 over Sam Houston. Middle Tennessee's an E team, 28 defense. Sam Houston's an under team, the 27 defense. So they don't score a lot. So Middle Tennessee scores in the 20s. Sam Houston probably scores in the teens. Not a big offense. Anyway, Sorry about that. Again, this is a game that it's like just stay away from. Middle Tennessee, I don't know how good they are to be a road favorite with the 28 defense. Sam Houston doesn't score enough with the 27 defense. It's hard to go over or under. So this is a game to stay away from. There's too many games to play, and this is where you lose your money. Oh, I bet Sam Houston. Like, what just avoid this. SMU Navy, SMU 19.5, 45.5. SMU, the A team. Navy's been playing strong underball, strong defense. SMU is a very strong team this year. Good offense and a very good defense. I don't know if I'd lay 19 with SMU against the Navy. Navy will give them a little bit of difficulty on offense, just stopping it. But based on what I'm seeing, it's almost an under game. Or will SMU blow out Navy? Are they going to have trouble with the SMU passing attack? Again, this I don't know. The spread's a little too high to take SMU, I think. I don't like Navy's offense to stay with SMU, so it's hard to take Navy. Maybe you go under a 19 defense, an 18 defense. SMU, maybe they win 30-10, but under 51 maybe is good. Again, a very difficult game. I don't know Navy well enough. I know SMU well enough. I don't know Navy well enough to make that. LSU is now 12.5 and 67.5, which is very confusing. So what I'm reading is LSU is A&M's quarterback is out. Let me just confirm this on covers. So we know their starter Wegman's out. We know they got Johnson, who looked pretty good against Alabama. And I saw on the other site he was out, but I trust this site more. A&M. Yeah, Johnson is out and Wegman's out. Who is the third string quarterback? Is he any good? Because what you're asking for is we love LSU over, but you're forcing it into an LSU bet because we don't know if A&M is going to score. Now, I'm a little bit surprised the over went to 67.5. If I lose my starting quarterback and then my second string's pretty good and I lose him, what do you do with that? How do I bet A&M? But then why would I bet over? Or am I thinking that LSU is going to score 70 points on A&M? I'm sure A&M will probably try to run the ball more with their third string quarterback. He's not going to just go out there and light it up. I don't know. Today's day, maybe they do. I don't like the game over at all. I think now I like LSU minus 6.5. They'll score their 45, 50 points. But I don't think what's A&M going to do? So now this is making LSU the play because the quarterback's out. And therefore, LSU, so A&M's an A team with the 20 defense, but now they're not an A team. Now they're an under team because without the quarterback, they're not going to score. LSU's an over team, scores in the 40s and gives up 28. However, A&M can't really take advantage of the 28 defense of LSU. So that makes it where I think the play is all LSU. I think they put up their 50 and that's it. And A&M won't be able to do much with the third string quarterback. Now, that's your risk. Do you bet against the third string quarterback, which makes sense, and hope he's Bill Montana and not Joe Montana? And that's really your decision. But that's what I think I like LSU. It is, I believe, a noon game. Yeah, it's a noon game. So if you bet it now. That's where I'm at with it. So I like LSU. Lay the 6.5 under a touchdown. I guess the third string quarterback. I mean, what else can you ask for? You actually didn't mind if the second string quarterback we know Johnson would have played, we would have bet it over. But now we're waiting. This is why you wait. We waited on yesterday. I waited on Oklahoma and Gabriel played, and I bet the game over. And that was it. Oregon we knew, Texas we knew. Both quarterbacks are out for Air Force and Boise, so it should have been an under, but Air Force is an under anyway. Okay. Troy Southern Miss. Troy 16.5, 47.5. Hasn't moved. Southern Miss, quarterbacks out and a W team. With the 35 defense, Troy's the A team with like a 10 defense the last 5 or 6 weeks. Played them last week. They played Lou Lafayette, who's obviously a very good team. They're an over team. So got probably a bad break taking I bet on Troy's defense, but again, here you have Southern Miss, a W team with a 35 defense. Troy should light them up. And so definitely go back to Troy minus 10.5 because it's a W team with a 35 defense. So Troy should have no problem scoring, and you're not going to score a lot on Troy. Very good defense. So that's what I like. Rice 3.5, 48.5. Again, I'm waiting on Rice's quarterback. Let's see if it gives us. He's a very good quarterback. Well, he sucked at Georgia and he sucked at USC, but he's been very good at Rice. Let's see if he's playing. He's still questionable with a concussion as of Monday. Let's try this one. And I almost look at that. If the guy's still questionable today, yeah, he's listed the last 2 games with concussion. And I love how it will remain if he will suit up Saturday. Jesus Christ, fella. So I got to assume he's not playing because I got to assume he'd be out there. So again, it's 3.5, 48 with the backup. Quarterback who's played the last 2 games. I do like Rice with that. Syracuse 1.5, 43.5 to Wake Forest. I don't know. Two lousy teams. Syracuse 23 defense, Wake at 27. I know they've had trouble against any good team they played. Syracuse, Wake Forest, not a good team. They're a W under. I don't know. I have no idea here. East Carolina 2.5, 44.5, down from 3.5. Tulsa W team with a 35 defense. East Car an under team with a 21 defense. I'd probably play East Car and or the under in the game. Old Dominion 2.5, 51.5 to Georgia State. And Georgia State's a Z team with the 32 defense and like a 15 offense. So when you dug into their last 5 games, they were much worse than they appeared to be. Old Dominion's an E team with the 27 defense, so they can score a little. I'd have to go Old Dominion against the Z team. UAB, North Texas. North Texas 2.5, 74.5. Jesus Christ. High scoring game, but it should be. UAB and North Texas, very high scoring teams, 36 defenses. I think it gets over. The question is, at what point do you say the total's too high to go over? Judging from some of these games, I don't think it's too high. I think it's a 70-point game somewhere in there. North Texas they score over 40 and they give up 36, and same thing with UAB. So this should be up and down the field, touchdowns. I don't think they'll try to run the ball and hold it. Utah 20.5, 46.5 to Colorado. Let's see. Is Primetime Junior out? I think he is. He's been doubtful. He's still doubtful. What's an upper body injury? His shoulder, his chest? What does that mean? So really, you're not getting much help with this idiot. So let's go here. Maybe Primetime will play quarterback. Colorado. Doubtful with an upper body. So that tells me he's not playing. The spread went from 21.5 to 20.5, but the under went down to 46.5. Started at, it was like 47, 48. So it's gone down. I believe he's out. I believe you just bet the game under because Colorado, the problem is Colorado gives up 36 a game. So Utah might actually, they're a 20-point favorite, which is high because they're an under team. But Colorado now turns into a Z team here. Without Prime Senior, without Prime Junior, they're not going to score much because he's their quarterback. Who knows what the backup is? Now, he should be okay, but who knows? So with that said, thinking that you're not going to get any points, Utah's basically going to shut them out. Utah probably puts up 30, 40 points because they're just angry. And it's probably then a Utah game, or you go under 52.5 because Utah's defense. So you figure let's figure 42-0 Utah. I mean, that's about how you got to figure it, which is an under 52. So I would play it like that. Vegas 1.5 and 57.5, down from 3.5. Both teams are over. Both teams are 25. Let's check. I didn't see any injuries. San Jose State, nothing new. And Vegas is the best team in the league. This is like to win the conference. And Vegas, there's no injuries. I have no idea why the line's down. It's in Vegas. Shouldn't be a weather problem. Not to make the line go to 1.5. I like Vegas here. I like the over here. Should be a high-scoring game. Both teams are over with 25 defenses. All right, let's go. Western Kentucky 10.5, 55 to Florida International. Like Western Kentucky or Florida International's a Z team, give up 31. Western Kentucky's an over team, gives up 28. I don't think Florida International is going to really do much against Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky should light up Florida International's weak defense, therefore they should win. Lou Monroe, Lou Lafayette 12.5, 53.5. As we mentioned, They played a good game with Troy, which is hard to score on Troy. Lou Monroe's a Z team with a 33 defense. Lou Lafayette at 29. This could go over, or Lou Lafayette minus the 6.5. Wisconsin, Minnesota, 2.5. Wisconsin and 44.5, up from 42.5. Wow. Who's betting the over in this game? Wisconsin, they do have Mordecai back, an under team with a 19 defense. Minnesota's kind of weak with the 27 defense. I think the game, I just bet it under because it's Wisconsin. They don't score and they have a good defense. Minnesota's quarterback's terrible. They got a lot of injuries on their defense, but I don't see Wisconsin putting up a big number here, or Minnesota for that matter. Should be a game in the 20s, under 50. Yeah. VTech 2.5, 53.5 to Virginia. E team, Virginia Tech. W team, Virginia. Virginia gives up 31, so the edge goes to VTech with the 24 defense. Rivalry game, but so far the rivalries have not had enough. Well, I mean, they played some last week. Kansas State, USC, UCLA, Stanford, Cal. What the fuck are they doing? Putting the rivalry games. So now Cal plays UCLA. What was the point of that? Why didn't they play last week and then have USC, UCLA this week and Cal, Stanford this week? It's just idiotic. So again, in the rivalry where you'd probably go dog, I think Virginia Tech against the Z team, you get 3.5. I think is the way to go. Maryland 2.5, 45.5 over Rutgers. Not a rivalry. Maryland's an E team with a 23. Played decent against Michigan, scoring some points. Rutgers an under team with a very strong defense. I like the Rutgers and I like the under here. Georgia Southern, App State 9.5 and 63.5. This is an over game. Both teams over. Both teams 27 defense. Go over. Keep it simple. James Madison 7.5, 50.5, down from 8.5. The Sharks betting on Coastal Carolina here. McCall's out. James Madison is the A team with the 19 defense. Coastal Carolina is a B with the 22. I like James Madison. Lay the 1.5. Vandy, Tennessee 27.5, 56. I think this will be a blowout for Tennessee and probably an over. Tennessee at home, and in this type of game, it's a rivalry game. Look for them to just pour it on. Vanderbilt, W team with the 25 defense. Vandy could score a little. Tennessee will score a lot. 22 defense. I think Tennessee just, it gets in the 50s for them. And the over-under is 56. So you go over 50, I think Tennessee gets it for you. Arkansas State and Marshall. Marshall 1.5, 52.5. I like Ark State here getting the points. Marshall's very weak. Both teams have terrible defenses, 30 defenses. But Arkansas can score more than Marshall. Put up 77 last week. I don't expect that. But teams, when they start to score, it's psychological. They go, oh, we can score. Oh, okay. They probably switch quarterbacks. So definitely like the over team against the W team. So the W team doesn't score. I got a team that scores 30 against a team that scores 20, and both defenses are 30, and tease the dog. Here's another rivalry: Arizona State. This was 10.5, is now 12.5, and 49.5. Arizona State's had quarterback problems the whole year. They're two. I don't know who it is. They have three quarterbacks. Two of them are out. So I don't know if the third one's any good or not. He doesn't appear to be any good. Arizona is our bitch this year, beating Utah, UCLA, Washington State, 44-6. So really like Arizona here. Down from 10, they went from 10 to 12. I don't know how the conference is going to work it. So if Washington wins today, do they play Arizona as the South, or are they going to play Oregon as the best two teams play? I don't know. Oregon's definitely should be in the playoff. If Michigan and Ohio State are in and Oregon's not, that's fucking ridiculous. So your best four right now are Georgia. Florida State is we got to see how this backup plays today. All right. If he's good, then they're still up there. Washington and Oregon definitely are in the play, should be in the playoffs. I don't Texas looked good. I don't get Michigan and Ohio State. Michigan played nobody. Ohio State beat Notre Dame, who has 3 losses. So you're like, well, did they really beat somebody? The USC win doesn't count for Notre Dame. They've lost about six games, USC. I didn't like seeing that story where, Caleb Williams wasted his time at USC with that. That's bullshit. The coach makes he made Jalen Hurts, who sucked at Alabama and had to leave, and then he made Kyler Murray, who sucked, but he was fast, so it works in that system. Caleb Williams is not a running quarterback. This is the problem. Caleb Williams, to be successful in this guy's system, you've got to be fast because the receivers run deep. You're supposed to run, not throw. This is not a quarterback system. It's a running quarterback system. Jalen Hurts and Kyler Murray are fast and runners, not quarterbacks. Caleb Williams does not run. A little bit, but he's more like Mahomes. He wants to sit in the pocket and throw. He doesn't want to run. Lincoln Riley's offense is bullshit. It's just run the receivers deep and then run the quarterback. That's his system. Really stupid, right? So Caleb Williams was doomed from the beginning. If he wants to be Pat Mahomes, you're not going to be Pat Mahomes here. You want to be Pat Mahomes, go to Oklahoma, maybe go to Texas, go to Kansas. Well, go to Kansas, a school that throws the ball around. I would have went to Kansas. Kansas is that coach is incredibly smart offensively, great offense. So anyway, with that said, I don't know how we got to Caleb Williams, but definitely like Arizona here. They are a very strong A team, 20 defense. Arizona State with their third string quarterback they don't score and they give up 29. Arizona big here. Alabama, they're up to 13.5. No, they've been 13.5. So they're not up. I think they were 14 and 47.5. And I think they'll kill Auburn. I saw that one article. Oh, Auburn will keep it close. Yeah, in your dreams, Auburn. That's put out by the bettors to get betting on Auburn. It is not reality. Again, you must trust who you listen to. Alabama, they have to win. If they want to make the playoffs, and they know Oregon's out there, and Washington, okay, one of them's going to have one loss, one's going to have none. Unless Washington, they play, I don't know who they play in the conference championship. Arizona, they'll probably beat Oregon. Oregon will beat them, but then both teams will have one loss. Alabama goes to 2 losses, they're out. Georgia, even if they beat Georgia, I don't see Georgia not making the playoffs. And then you got Michigan, Ohio State, both teams undefeated. So one of them gets a loss, they're gone. So you got an undefeated Michigan, Ohio State. You got Washington and Oregon. You've got Georgia. Alabama cannot get there with 2 losses, especially losing to Texas. So Texas gets in because they beat Alabama. So Alabama is really the only chance they got. They got to win this game, and then they got to beat Georgia. And they ain't going to beat Georgia with Milrose. So this is a must-win game for Alabama. So just take Alabama. It'll be one of those slowly 37-10 games. Oak State, BYU, Oak State in a must-win to have any chance. Since they beat Oklahoma, well, Texas won, but I think this would be for the conference playoff, right? So the two best teams play next week. So I think Oak State needs the game for this. They're 16 and a half, 56 and a half. They got the best player in college football, Ali. I don't know his last, still don't know his last name. Ali. We'll just call him Ali. Ali Brown, best running back, a Jim Brown disciple, very powerful, but he's fast, but you don't think he's fast. So it's like watching a big back, like the kid on Baltimore, right? What's his name? He scores all the time. He's like the goal line guy. But imagine him if he was fast. So that's what you have there. Ali he's the leading rusher in college football, and you just hand him the ball, he breaks the tackle, and then nobody can catch him. So it's like a powerful O.J. Simpson because O.J. was fast. So Oak State, BYU, they shot their load last week against Oklahoma at home, senior day. Now we go to Oak State. I think they're going to pound them. They're laying 16 and a half. BYU, quarterback's questionable. They give up 28 a game. Oak State gives up 26. It's all Oak State here. They're not going to lose. Illinois, 5.5, 47.5 to Northwestern. I like the game under. Northwestern, a 22 defense, plays low-scoring games. Illinois, weak offense. This is a rivalry. Maybe take Northwestern 11.5. Liberty and UTEP. Liberty 17.5, 55.5, up from 16.5. Liberty, the A team, big offense, 27 defense. UTEP, no offense, 27 defense. Quarterback's questionable if he's not out. Liberty by 40 here. Go kill him. They're going to kill him. They're going to kill him. They're going to kill him. Washington State. This game's down to Washington 14.5 from 16.5. Over under of 65.5. I wonder if there's weather here. Did I get an injury? Obviously, I like Washington here. Washington State. Let's see. Nothing. No injury. Let's check here. Nothing. A wide receiver questionable. Washington State. Nothing. So let's check weather. Washington Huskies football game today. All right. AccuWeather. Wind 5 mile an hour. 9:30, 10, 11, 12. This game is a night game. 7 o'clock, 38 degrees, wind gusts 6 miles an hour, wind. No, there's nothing. There's no wind. There's no rain. Why is this going down? Because the analytics people think so. So fuck them. Morning, Alex. I don't know, but I like Washington. They're only laying 14.5, 65.5. I did not lock that. I locked Oregon. I've got another lock. Ohio State's your free play with Kansas City Chiefs under. It's not a lock, but I like Washington. I mean, this is to make the playoff. Cam Ward is not that good. They could score because Washington's defense has been a little bit bad, but I think Washington does what Oregon did and what Texas did, and they'll just pound them at home. I think it's revenge. Let's see if it's revenge. If it's revenge, I really like it. I like it regardless. Washington won 51-33 last year. Washington State won in Washington 40-13. So 51-33 last year. I would imagine we're close to that this year. So where did I go? So I don't know who's betting Washington State here. Probably the Sharps. They're the A team with the 23 defense, and they beat Oregon, and that's a big thing. Washington State, again, they lost to Arizona 44-6. They lost to Stanford 10-7. Okay, so I can't really trust them plus the 20 here. I like Washington. I like the game over. I think it'll be high scoring. The Oregon pick was just too easy. Hammered that game last. That was my lock. That was lock one, Alex. So I hit Oklahoma over, which was over at halftime. I hit Texas. I hit Missouri. I hit Oregon was the lock. And hit Toledo even. Memphis over Temple. Missouri, Texas, and I like the Air Force under, but I had so many games I didn't play it. I must have 15 teasers gone so far. I haven't lost any of them. Hit the Jets. Miami pushed down the under with 47. How that game got to 47, I can't believe. But it was a push, so at least they didn't go for two and fuck me. Yeah, New Mexico or New Mexico over? I like New Mexico over, but I wasn't sure on the Utah State quarterback. He didn't play. The backup came in, was one of these runners, ran for like 200 yards. That's why I say you never know what you're going to get in the backup quarterback role. All right, so let's continue. Jacksonville State 2.5, 49.5. Both B teams, both 20 defenses. Pavia was questionable, but I would take New Mexico State as a home dog. They just fucking beat Auburn last week 31-10. So I got no problem playing New Mexico State as a home dog to Jacksonville State. Florida State 6.5, 49.5. Very interesting. Both quarterbacks are out. We saw a little of the Florida State backup last week. They did throw the ball with him. The Florida State's normally an A team with the 17 defense, which means they score in the 30s, give up 17. Florida's an over team with the 28 defense. So I give the edge right away to Florida State. based on the defense. I always want to play the defense over a weak offense. But however, with the quarterback out and will never play again, you got the Mackenzie Milton. He turned the damn foot left, and the rest of the foot was right. It was just terrible. But again, this is why you got to slide. I don't understand these quarterbacks. It's football. You get hurt. I think he got the foot caught in the ground. I don't know what really caused it. He got tackled, but when he got up, the foot was sideways. So why aren't you sliding? Do you not realize you're the starting quarterback trying to get into the playoff against Northern fucking Alabama, and you're not sliding? Are you insane? This is what I don't get from the quarterbacks. You've got to slide. You can't be replaced. Jordan Travis is this backup is not equal to him. The running backs, you've got 5, 6 running backs. One guy gets hurt, and here comes, look at Oak State. They got four running backs out, but they found Ali, and Ali is, he's the best player in college football. So that you can live with, but you can't live without the quarterback. So terrible decision. I probably like the game under 56 just because I think Florida, that Mertz broke his collarbone, he's out. They're an over team. So I think Florida State has an easier time on the defense. I don't think Florida can do anything with the backup. I think this ends up being a low-scoring game because you don't have a quarterback. I don't know how good the backups are, but if they were that good, you wouldn't be starting Graham Mertz and Travis. You'd have Montana and Elway in there. So I think you got backup quarterbacks, huge game. Florida State has to prove to get into the playoff, even though they're undefeated, and they beat LSU and they beat Clemson. Without their quarterback, here comes Oregon, right? They got a loss, but they got Bo Nix. So Florida State has to win this game big, really. They got to show that the backup quarterback's okay. Florida, on the other hand, has a weak defense. They played Missouri a good game. Give them credit for that because Missouri just hammered Arkansas yesterday. Missouri is a very good team. So, I just think under 56 is a good play just because of the backup. Now, if this was Travis and Mertz, I'd take Florida State. Have to win to get in the playoffs. They would have won, but I think you'll see more running and just let the defense go for it on 4th down, punt the ball, play field position, play to our defense. They don't have Mertz, so I'm not worried about their quarterback lighting us up. And I think under is the only way you can play when you lose all the quarterbacks. Where are you going to get the points from? All right, Notre Dame stand, and I hope the Florida State quarterback today slides because if they lose him, now they're on the 3rd stringer. They'll never make the playoff. Notre Dame 25.5, 50.5, up from 49. Playing Stanford. I don't know why the spread's up. Notre Dame by 40 here. They're an A team with the 16 defense. The only problem is their offensive coordinator wants to run too much. He doesn't know how to call plays for Hartman. Hartman finally got 4 touchdowns last week. He looked more like himself. Stanford, terrible team. A W, their defense, they give up 36. The Cal game last week, what was the score? Cal 27-15. Cal's explosive. So they did hold them to 27. Notre Dame, they're not really playing for anything. They got 3 losses. Does that make the Ohio State win over Notre Dame less attractive? Then they still beat Notre Dame, even if they go 2-12. But we beat Notre Dame. Notre Dame minus 19, over 44. Hard to go over Notre Dame. They got a 16 defense, and they like to run the ball. Stanford with no defense, but maybe they're getting better. Holding Cal to 27 was Cal's got a very explosive offense. So I think Notre Dame last game for Hartman, who played there 1 year. I just worry about the Notre Dame offensive coordinator. I don't think he can handle a Hartman. I think let's run the option and the wide receiver screen play, and they all have the same playbook. We'll throw to the 4th and 1. We'll throw to the receiver and watch him lose 2 yards. That's the most frustrating thing watching a box score. And it's 4th down and 1, and they're going for it. You need them to get the first down, and it's a pass completed to Joe Blow on the right side for a -2 yards. What the fuck kind of play call was that? So Stanford, they shot their load against Cal. That's their rival. Here comes Notre Dame. They just don't have an offense. Now, it's scary is they beat Washington State 10-7. That's the scary part, and they have a 36 defense. I don't know. I don't think that's right. It's probably more like a 26 when you just take you take the Cal game, you take the Washington State game. So maybe, I still, I think Notre Dame wants to end the season right. So look for them by 19. I think they win by 30. Maybe 40-14, something like that, but not a game on my list. South Alabama, Texas State. South Alabama, 5.5, 58.5 to Texas State. Texas State's explosive team with the 33 defense. South Alabama's the 8 team with the 19 defense. I like South Alabama here. Alex, just New Mexico plus 10.5 with Oregon -8. I like the over in the New Mexico game, but the Utah State quarterback was out, but I knew it'd be high scoring, so I'd rather play the over. They only got 90 points. I love the Oklahoma game. I'm laying 63 down to 57 over. I hit it at halftime. It was 58 at halftime. You ended at 115 or 120. What a fucking game. West Virginia, 11.5, 54.5 to Baylor. Baylor's quarterback's out. Shapen. West Virginia, high-scoring team. Their quarterback's deceiving. He's a good runner and a good passer. It's like Jefferson at Arkansas, only Jefferson's not having a good year. But this is strong offense. They're better at home, but without Shapen. Baylor's a W team. They're probably a Z team here, giving up 33 a game. West Virginia gives up 27, but scores 40. Good quarterback. I like West Virginia here laying. Well, I think I got it at 9. I think I'm laying 3. Now it's 11.5. Georgia Tech. Georgia 24.5, 59.5. Down from 60.5. Georgia Tech, a over team with a terrible defense, 30 defense. Georgia, we know they could beat just about everybody in the NFL but the Niners. And it'd be interesting if they played the Eagles because they got 6 Georgia guys on defense and the running back. So this would be interesting. I'm sure what happened is the running back did nothing on the Lions, and then he goes to Philadelphia, and there's 6 Georgia defensive players there. And I guarantee you they gave him shit. Like, you better run like you did at Georgia here. And typical Lion fashion, nobody cares at the Lions. They don't try. So he goes to Philadelphia with all the Georgia guys. All of a sudden, he's lighting it up. And you're going, well, why'd the Lions let him go? And, you're seeing the real running back, but he's got the pressure of all the Georgia defensive players giving it to him. So he's playing much better. Georgia, love the quarterback. Brock Bowers is back. They got such a good offense. I mean, they run plays at the goal line, and the guys are wide open. It's unbelievable. They run a lot of crossing patterns. Anyway, I think Georgia Tech scares me a little bit offensively because they are a very strong offense. They're a 35 offense with a 30 defense. So I think Georgia lights up, gets 50 on them. Georgia Tech should be able to score 14. Over 54, I think, is easy. Now, it's funny, before I'd go under 66, but the reason I would go under is because Georgia doesn't score a lot with Stenson Bennett. They would score in the 30s and shut you out, and that's not the team they are now. This is a team that scores in the 50s, and you score, they let you get 14. And the Missouri game was really what I was the most scared of, because Missouri is a very good team. And I wasn't scared about Tennessee. That was 38-10. Tennessee's got a fairly good defense. The reason for the over here is Georgia Tech's defense is the 30. So when you watch Georgia, you've got to watch who they play. And when they play Alabama next week, you've got to watch, you got to be careful. That might be an under because you're playing a strong defense. But in this case, against Georgia Tech with the 30 defense, I mean, there's no way Georgia doesn't score 50 in this game. It's just going to be one of these. They keep piling it on. Georgia Tech might get a little bit of scores. I feel more comfortable going over 54 than under 66. And again, over versus Georgia minus 18.5. Georgia Tech is explosive. They can score, although nobody really scores on Georgia too much. So they might get to 20. Georgia be in the 50s, so to be a 70-point game, I'm over 54. Kansas, 7-57 to Cincinnati, up from 6. Cincinnati's not that good. Emory Moore, their quarterback's really not that good. Came from Florida. Kansas, I love Kansas. The coach, very creative. Neal, very strong running back. Bean, very strong quarterback. Just their play calling. They went to Oklahoma and won. That's enough said there. I like Kansas. Lay the 1. Over 57.5. Probably gets there 2. Cincinnati with the weak defense. So either way. Alex, Texas A&M starting third string core. Yeah, transfer from Fresno, sophomore. Dual threat. Well, so the question is, do you bet over? As I said, the over is it's 12.5, 67.5. Okay, he's a dual threat. All right, he's from Fresno State, which is surprising because they usually have Jake Hayner and those type of quarterbacks. Mikey Keene is not really a dual threat quarterback. It's probably why he left, because they like drop back passers. Okay, why is he the third string? Well, I don't know. Is A&M going to score for us? That's the point. Now, the line did go from 66 to 67. We know LSU is good for 45, 50 points here. The question is, what do we get from A&M? Or do we bet LSU and lay 6 points? LSU's laying 12.5. We can lay 6.5 if we don't think the kid can do a lot. If we think the kid's going to run all over the place, then it's an over. So what do you think A&M's going to do? Can they score 30 points in the game? Because if they can, it's an LSU bet. Well, Georgia State didn't score on them last week, right? 56-14. And the question is this third string, how bad is this third string quarterback? He couldn't beat out Johnson, who looked really good. I'm kind of disappointed. I love the over. If Johnson played, he's out. So the question is who is this third string quarterback? Yeah, he's dual option, but there's a lot of crappy dual option quarterbacks too. Well, I think you go over LSU. They'll be in the 50s here. It's all really what do we know? We know nothing of the third string quarterback. So are they going to light up LSU or not? If they don't, it's just take LSU minus 6.5. They will put up big points because nobody can stop them unless you cheap shot them like Alabama did. I like how nothing happened. The guy cheap shotted him, almost breaks his jaw, gives him a concussion, and they say nothing. Oh, we can't have a penalty on Alabama. Come on. Yeah, well, I don't. I think the best bet's 6.5. If because we don't know the kid. Yeah, he's a dual threat, big deal. If you can't complete a pass, keep in mind LSU does have fast players. So if they can't, um, how good is he at completing the pass? One second, guys. All right, sorry about that. All right, so I think so too. Bet LSU team total over, and they are pushing the LSU quarterback for the Heisman, so he needs a big game. I don't have any doubt that LSU puts up 50 points. If Alabama couldn't stop them, A&M's got a good defense. Now I do like Bobby Petrino, their offensive coordinator, but now you got the third string guy who probably can't complete a pass. So I'm not sure what you're going to get out of A&M, and I don't want to bet on a third stringer. So I think I like LSU lay the 6. I mean, that's the touchdown, and as you just pointed out, Mike Tate has the SEC title game. Georgia 4.5 over Bama. Take Georgia. It's not even a thought. That's ridiculous. Georgia will, Bama's problem is Milrose, right? So what do you think Georgia's going to do to him? Anytime you get Georgia under a touchdown, it's automatic. What is the Pac-10 championship game? Is it Washington, Oregon, or Washington, Arizona? We know Washington will win today, but let me know what you got there. All right, Kansas 757.5, probably a high scoring game. Kansas probably lay the 1. I love Kansas. They're such a good team. See, if this was Oklahoma, Cincinnati, Oklahoma's laying 20, but it's Kansas. They're only laying 7. Oh, I only have to lay 1 with the team that's so much better. Thank you. Alec, the ACC title game out too. Florida State 5 over Louisville. You got to go Louisville. You got to go under there because Travis is gone. He'll never play again. You got Mackenzie Milton. So with him out, how the hell are they going to beat Louisville there? So anyway, Clemson 7.5, 48.5. Clemson is down from 50.5, the total. Clemson's a B team, 21 defense. South Carolina is an over team, 27 defense. I like Clemson to win this game. South Carolina's not very good. Rattler sucks. We all know that. I'm not sold on Clemson's quarterback, but they seem to, I don't know. They lost to Miami. They lost to Duke. They lost to Florida State. Duke really killed them 28-7, but South Carolina has a 27 defense, so I think Clemson will be okay here. South Florida 6.5, 56.5 to Charlotte, I like South Florida here. They're the over team. 37 defense. Charlotte doesn't score with a 27 defense. I think South Florida at home, senior day. Yeah, I think they put it up and get them. North Carolina 2.5, 55.5 over North Carolina State. This is not a rivalry game. North Carolina's rival is Duke, not North Carolina State. North Carolina over team with the 26 defense. NC State's an under team with the 20 defense. North Carolina's got an excellent runner. I don't know his name, but I was looking at when I was looking at Ollie from Oak State, I looked at the top 20 running backs. North Carolina's got a good one. So they're balanced. I think North Carolina plus 3.5 here is a good play. Iowa State, Kansas State. Kansas State is 9.5, 45.5. They have to win. They did lose to Oklahoma, and they did lose to Texas. I think with Oklahoma's when K-State's out, but I don't know if they need well, I know Oak State needs to win to get into the playoff with Texas. If they lose, I'm not sure if it goes to Oklahoma or it goes to K-State. So I don't know if K-State needs it or not. They're 9.5. What do we got? 9.5, 45.5 hasn't moved. Iowa State, we know, under team. Rocco Brecht, the new quarterback, throws a lot of picks with a 20 defense. Kansas State's an A team with a 19 defense. Should be an under. But I do like K-State. They're just very good at home. And under 51 in an Iowa State game is it's a healthy total. Conference USA, Liberty 10 against New Mexico State. Oh, we got to take New Mexico State as long as their quarterback's healthy. Wyoming 10.5, 41.5 against Nevada. Nevada's a Z team. Their quarterback's out. Wyoming, an even team, gives up 24. Peasley's okay as a quarterback. They should handle Nevada minus 4.5 there. Cal and UCLA, very interesting. You got the under team against the over team. We got 9.5, 51.5. That line hasn't moved. Cal's an over team, gives up 35. UCLA's a B, gives up 16. I'd look at the USC game, it was 38-20, is a 58. I look at Cal Stanford. I look at Cal Oregon. I look at Cal Oregon. Against good defenses, they don't show up because they get handled. UCLA's got a great defense. Although I think the fact that Cal can run the ball, I kind of like over 45 in the game. I can't really trust Cal in 15. I don't know if I can trust UCLA, but UCLA should score in the 30s here. Cal, we're hoping for 20. I'm going over in the game. Fresno State 5.5, 47.5. Mikey Keene is playing. I like Fresno State even here. 23 defense against the 27. San Diego State's really bad this year. Fresno State's a B. I like Fresno State. And Colorado State, Hawaii. Colorado State 5.5, 53.5 to Hawaii. Hawaii 33 defense. Colorado State at 30. I don't like their quarterback, but against Hawaii, they should be okay. I like Colorado State to win. I like the game over. Hawaii can score and then doesn't score. So I don't know. They have that offense. So there you have it. Ohio State, the free pick. I got 2 locks going today. My first lock, Oregon, easily wins. And part of the reason the lock was I was only laying 7 there. I got it at 13. Betting early has helped me. I got the Rams as a dog. Now they're favorite. I got a few other good lines before. So some of my sometimes I get burned by it, but I didn't do LSU yet. It's a noon game. I think the play's LSU minus 6.5. If the third string quarterback turns out to be Joe Montana, okay. You know LSU's going to score 50 because A&M just, even with the good defense, they ran it all over on Alabama. And it's the last home game, so LSU, I think, gets it there. So there's so many. I have 15 teasers played so far. I've been really good on them. Don't want to jinx myself, but everything yesterday hit Toledo, hit Oklahoma over, hit Memphis, hit Missouri, hit Texas, hit Oregon as the lock. So 6 or 7-0. Push on the Jets under. Well, I mean, of course, the Jets are horrible with Boyle. What did you expect? I don't know what the Jets are thinking, that Boyle's their answer. It's their offensive coordinator that sucks. But he's there for Aaron Rodgers, so you have to take the pain this year. Who are they going to draft? I mean, they could draft Bo Nix or something. I don't know. The Jets, they're a very strong defensive team. They're getting injuries. I'm a little surprised Miami. Well, they got there was 2 pick sixes in the game, and I still pushed down the under, which was unbelievable. But anyway, that's what we got. Let's see. Is it still 3.5? Yep, Michigan 3.5, 46.5. So they keep monkeying around. It's 45.5. It's 46.5. It's 45.5. What the fuck's going on? This is an under game. What are you thinking? Who's going 45.5? What are you trying to trap the game? Late 46.5, then go to 45.5 and bet it over? Are you out of your minds? This is a 30-point game, Michigan, Ohio State. And I like the dog in it also. This is a dog game. This is an under game. It's not even close. Ohio State, we go by the Notre Dame game because they have Hartman, and they had a good runner, and they got a great defense. They're the same as Michigan, except for their quarterback's better. Ohio State with 2 losses in a row. Okay, is it a matchup problem, and they can't beat them? Like Ohio State had Michigan, 20 years in a row. I think they were 19-1. That was a matchup issue. Urban Meyer knew how to beat them. Now this guy, Cook or Brady, whatever is the coach's name, or Todd Day, he doesn't. He's letting Michigan run on him. He changed defensive coordinators. As you can see, they're a much stronger defense this year. That's why I'm betting Ohio State. It's their defense. I always bet these games because of their defense. Oregon last night, there was no way Uglia Buglia was lighting up Oregon. Didn't light up Washington, and didn't light that. And I didn't make the same mistake twice. I did not bet the game over. I bet the game Oregon because I've seen too many Oregon at homes, like against Colorado, and it's 42-6. They don't give up points at home. Here you go again. Oregon State, good offensive team. Not yesterday. They're an A team that gives up 20, 31-7 Oregon. I'm expecting similar with Washington today. They'll wrap it up. Texas won. Oklahoma had to win. They won. So right now, Texas wins, Oregon wins, Oklahoma wins. I'm expecting Washington to win. Alabama, I mean, that's ridiculous. That's 13.5, 7.5 with the fucking Bama. Oh my God. Then you got your Oak States, your Kansas, UCF over, you got West Virginia, you got K-State, you got Ohio State. It just Arizona. It's like I'm at a candy store. It's like, yep, that I'm gonna take that one. I'm gonna take that one. I'm gonna take that one. It's see, but now we know Arizona is. We know what Arizona is. We know what Kansas is. We know what Kansas State is. We also know what Iowa State is. They're stronger offensively than normal. Baylor lost their quarterback. We know they suck. So by this time, we know all the teams. This is the problem in the first month of the season. We don't know I don't know Arizona is going to be like this. They lost their quarterback. Oh, okay, they're all done. Their backup's fine. He's better than the quarterback. They're averaging 40 points a game. They give up nothing. They give up 20 a game. They got a killer defense. They gave up 28 to USC in regulation, and then they went to Washington State 44-6. That's the thing. They killed UCLA. I think they killed Utah too. So I mean, this is a very good team, and we're only laying 10 points to Arizona State, who sucks. It's a rivalry, but at the end of the day, you're on the field, and if you have a 29 defense like Arizona State, you don't really have much of a chance. This is where you bet the defense, and we bet them. Troy Southern Miss. Troy's a 16, and we don't know that at the beginning of the year. We do know it now, and really, it's not a 16; it's like a 6. And here's Southern Miss 35 defense. I mean, so we can almost see what's going to happen. The weak defenses can't do anything, and the strong defenses is you can see it. Texas 18 defense, Oregon a 16 defense. Then you got to the Oklahoma TCU game. 114 points in that game. Unbelievable. But TCU's got a good offensive-minded coach, and we know Oklahoma does. And defense doesn't enter into it. You're not stopping TCU, and you're not stopping Gabriel played. So that was the question: is Gabriel going to play? They'd have killed BYU, but he gets hurt, so I get my revenge yesterday. As I lost the Oklahoma BYU game because the quarterback gets out. So far, pretty good. So, anyway, that's what's going on. Liberty against New Mexico State. Okay, so that's what's going on in college. It's 11:33. Let's check injuries just to see if there's something new. But I think we've checked them for the key games already. Alabama got a couple of wide receivers questionable. They'll all play. Arizona's healthy. Arizona State, Rashada, quarterback out. Pine, quarterback out. So you got the third string quarterback. That's what you want. Army, Auburn, Thorne, the quarterback's questionable with the foot. Believe me, it's Alabama. He ain't playing. He's from Michigan State anyway. What does he know about Alabama? He's scared of him. Baylor, Shapen is out with the head. Boise played yesterday. BC, Bowling. BYU, Slovis, questionable with an arm. Cal, pretty healthy. Odd is their main running back. I don't see anything there. UCF looks fairly healthy. Charlotte, Cincinnati, Clemson, Coastal Carolina. McCall's doubtful with the concussion, so Vasco's in. So they're playing. I know we liked whoever they were playing against. James Madison. Yeah, that makes James Madison attractive with McCall out. Sanders, Buffalo, Colorado, doubtful with an upper body. They're going to get killed. I mean, they got what? Colorado's got Utah. They're going to get shut out. I mean, Utah probably would have shut them out anyway, but without Prime Jr., they're in trouble. Dookie, Riley Leonard out with the toe. He's not – I think he's more of a runner because I looked at his stats. He's 3 touchdowns and 3 picks. And they beat Clemson 28-7, so I think he's more of a runner than a thrower. Or – they have good running, and when they get close, he doesn't throw the touchdown. Florida, Graham Mertz out with he's out with the collarbone. Odom out with the concussion. They got a lot of injuries, Florida. Let's see. Florida State, we know Travis is out. That's it. 2 wide receivers are questionable. So it's really going to be Florida State's defense, the key to the game. And then they'll probably run the ball. They'll probably just not let the quarterback hurt them. Florida without Mertz. So this is really, we don't know. We got to see the backups. Fresno State, Mikey Keene is playing. As I said, Georgia is very healthy. Everybody's questionable. One linebacker's early December. Another linebacker's out. And 3 wide receivers are questionable. McConkey's been hurt before the back. Now he's got an ankle. And you got Brock Bowers. So I'm glad it wasn't serious with Brock Bowers. He's the second best player behind the running back from Oak State. Houston, they're okay. Illinois, Altmaier, the quarterback, questionable. 3 running backs out for the season. This is Illinois' problem, and they got Northwestern. They're 5.5, and 3 running backs are out for the season. All pretty recent. Indiana, a bunch of Iowa. They played yesterday. What a team, Iowa! Iowa's in the Big Ten championship game, and they can't score. They can't score 14 points. Whoever gets them, Michigan, Ohio State will kill them. James Madison healthy. Kansas being probable with the head. That's good news. K-State's fine. Kent, their quarterback's questionable, but he's not very good anyway. Liberty is okay. LSU. Bobby's at the game at LSU. Diggs is playing. The other running back's out. Couple of quarterbacks out. So, we know it'll be high scoring for LSU. We don't know what A&M brings. And again, they did play Alabama Milrose, who's a dual threat, and they didn't handle him too well, but they've seen him. This guy's got to be nowhere near Milrose. So, again, the problem with these duels is, can they throw the ball? Usually they can run. They're quick, but they're not accurate passers. And that's when you get down to the goal line or in the last 2 minutes and you need first downs, they don't show up. L-Tech, Louisville, Marshall, Fancer, their quarterback's questionable. Not that he's that good, but he is their starter. Memphis, Miami. I don't know. They went to Williams. You sit Van Dyke down. You shouldn't be coaching. Michigan State, Middle Tennessee, Minnesota. A lot of injuries to Minnesota. Ole Miss, they already played. Ole Miss. Missouri played. Navy. Lavate, their quarterback's questionable. NC State. I never heard of this quarterback. I don't know who he is. Oh, he's redshirting. Who cares? Big Nebraska played yesterday. Nevada. Bianco is doubtful, their starting quarterback. New Mexico State. Pavia, questionable. So we hope Pavia is back. Yeah, I don't think he played last week. I don't recall. But if they're in the championship game next week, we need Pavia. Liberty's an offensive team. Cut myself shaving, unfortunately. North Carolina, Petaway is questionable. I don't know if he's their stud running back or not. Northwestern, quarterback's healthy. Notre Dame, pretty wide receivers out, tight ends out, another tight end, and that's it. Ohio State, questionable. Out. Well, the similar cast, 2 tight ends out, 4 wide receivers out. That's been like that the whole year. Their key really is the running back and quarterbacks playing, Marvin Harrison's playing, and the defense. stopping the run will be the key. Oklahoma, Oak State, just two wide receivers questionable, and that's it. So they're pretty healthy. Oregon, we know. Oregon State, we know. Penn State, we know. Purdue, Card probable. A lot of injuries. Rice Daniels questionable with the concussion. Rutgers, Sam Houston, San Diego State, San Jose State, South Florida. They're healthy. SC, well, they don't play. SMU, wide receiver probable. Southern Miss Golden Eagles. Like I said, the starters out. Wilkie, Crawford's probable. I have no idea. Probably a dual threat. Stanford's nothing. Syracuse, Temple, Tennessee, not much. A&M, both quarterbacks are out. Also, a wide receiver, Stewart's out. Another one's questionable. TCU, Utah. TSA, Troy. Troy's healthy. That's good. Tulsa, quarterback's questionable, but I don't know if he's the starter. UAB's healthy. UCLA, both quarterbacks are questionable, but Garbers is their starter. He's not on the list. Lou Lafayette, Chris is their starter. That Woolridge got hurt. He's out. Chris, questionable. They play Lou Monroe, a battle of the Lou's, and Lou Monroe is a wide receiver, questionable, big deal. They don't have anybody worth doing it anyway. Vegas is healthy. Utah, Cam Rising's coming back for a 7th year. So let's say he started at 18. He's going to be 25 and then get drafted. But it's a smart move because if you get drafted this year, there's too many good quarterbacks, right? Penix and Hartman and Bo Nix, Caleb. And so he ends up where nobody's going to take him because they're afraid of his injury because the stupid doctor fucked him. He plays next year, he lights it up, wins the Heisman, and then he'll be the top 5 draft picks. I think it's smart for him to do this, but he's clearly he'll be the best quarterback next year, but he'd be a top 3 quarterback this year. It's a shame the doctor fucked him over so bad. I don't get it. He's practicing all the time without a brace, but he can't play. I'd be suing that doctor. Vanderbilt. Corner, a bunch of questionables, and then old injuries. Virginia, quarterback Musket is their starter, questionable with the foot. They played Virginia Tech. Couple of wide receivers are out. And what is a UT? What's the difference between a UT and an offensive tackle? And he's an under tackle? Where did they come up with these things? Wake, I think they play somebody. Couple of wide receivers out. Washington, they're very healthy. Boston, the wide receivers questionable with an undisclosed and a couple of August injuries. So they are very healthy. Washington State, running back probable, O-lineman questionable, and a DB questionable. You don't want to be missing DBs against Washington, not with Penix. The other 2 are earlier ones. West Virginia, linebacker out, another linebacker out. One's October 3rd, then October 28th. But we're betting their offense. Western Kentucky, Western Wisconsin, the whole team's out. I've never seen so many injuries, and then Wyoming. So injury-wise, we're okay. So nothing really major in the injury. Ohio State, let's see, still 3.5, 46. Yeah, 3.5, 46.5. That's your free play. Ohio State and 9.5. And then we've got a pro college lock today. And then we had a college lock Oregon with another part of the college lock today. So there's 2 college locks you can bet. And the pro, if you want that, again, Oregon lock wins easy. And I've been about as on fire as I can get. 7-0 yesterday. I've hit all the pro. I lost the Detroit game. I should have bet it over. I knew better than to trust the Lions. Now you're going to see the real Lion team. They probably will not win another game the rest of the year. They got 2 Minnesotas, another Bear game, New Orleans, Dallas, Denver. Who are they going to beat? They just showed you at home they can't beat the Bears. They got to go to Chicago. They got 2 Minnesotas who you would think they could beat without Cousins, but the way Joshua Dobbs went, the way he went into Denver and did it, I mean, that's just crazy. All right, I want to show you Egon.
We have this perma bull attitude now among investors that both good news and bad news make the market go up, and here we have inflation artificially coming down. I don't believe in any of that. I think it's temporary, and if you read and study actually how they can define inflation and what subjective tools they have to adjust it, basically just because they think it's too high, they can adjust it lower. So any person who lives in a normal economy is not looking at 3% inflation today. So that's not real, and I think this is a correction to an uptrend in inflation and an uptrend in interest rates, and therefore we should not pay too much attention to this temporary euphoria. I don't think stock markets are going to go up further. They might come up a little bit from here, but the trend is down, and at some point it's down in a major way, whether that's happening this year or at the beginning of next year. But stock market investors are always buying the dips and always happy that the market goes up and finds always a reason to buy the market.
I also would not bet on an increasing market, Egon. Nevertheless, insanity can last longer than we think. What did Zero Hedge write? The higher for longer soft landing economy may be transitioning back to a Goldilocks economy of not to have hot, not to have cold activity and inflation that this week at least created a particularly attractive backdrop for stocks, but realistically, everything just traded together like the QE trade. Stocks up, bonds prices up, gold up, dollar down. I think for a while, we really could expect the interest rates to be flat and coming down, but probably a temporary development, as you said. And this is also supported by some deflationary pressure. Is the luxury goods bubble bursting? We read here an article that Burberry sales are falling and even the prices for luxury watches are declining. And from the US, we have a similar development. People run out of money, or at least run out of money to buy useless goods or not necessary goods, and the retail sales are declining. Retail sales in the US decreased by 0.1% month over month in October 23, putting an end to a 6-month streak of increases and compared with a market consensus of a 0.3% decline. Sales at miscellaneous store retailers recorded the largest decrease, followed by furniture stores. So there is definitely downward pressure, deflationary pressure, which would support the Fed to stop increasing rates. But nevertheless, there are other forces that paint a picture of increasing rates again. And sooner or later, not just because of the pressure to the economy, the mounting debt, the refinancing, we discussed everything, there will be a QE necessary. So I think this is only a phase of deflationary pressure that opportunistic people can use, but I would not bet on this to persist for much longer. What do you think, Egon?
Well, if we start with the luxury goods side that you mentioned, that has been one of the biggest bubbles in the world, in my view. No, just take that one of the richest person in the world is Arnault, which is the principal owner of the biggest luxury goods group in the world, LVMH. Louis Vuitton, Chandon, etc. What has happened is that, as we know, the rich has been getting much richer because of these bubble markets in property, stocks, bonds, even, and private equity, etc. And the wealthy don't know what to do with their money, so they spend it on things that they don't need. So that's why you find €1,000 or €100,000 handbags, for example, and people have to wait a year to actually order one, even because they make them scarce. These products. That bubble will of course burst when asset markets burst, which is something that we'll probably see during 2024 and coming years. And then again, the fact that retail spending is down. I mean, that's obvious. People don't have any money. Retail spending will continue down. But in my view, we will still have inflation. So you will have low spending and high inflation. We've seen it before. I've seen it in the 70s. And we're going to see it again.
Okay, I need to explain all this because these guys are freaking clueless. Since we know inflation is not prices, but the pounding of the money, the printing of the money to zero, making the value down because they printed so much. So there's no such thing as deflation. That's a Keynesian term. It means prices going down, but we know prices going down is the marketplace. It's me and you not buying things that are very expensive because we have less money, because prices have gone up for goods. The money's losing its value, doesn't buy as much. And that's really the key to it. Put it this way. In the Ponzi scheme that's going on, printing the dollars and everything, all that these guys do by looking at charts is immaterial. That'd be like charting Madoff, right? Madoff isn't even buying and selling things, right? He's just taking the money and handing it out and hoping to get more money in. So the thing with Madoff, how do you chart him? You can't. There's nothing to chart. How do you chart this? There's nothing to chart. They're charting prices. Why? The market, me and you run the prices. There's no such thing as deflation. All that is prices going down because our money doesn't buy as much and we don't get more money. So we got to be careful what we spend. It's called depression. Deflation. The price is going down, you're going to get with inflation 100% of the time, because the more you print, the less it's worth. It takes more to buy a milk and a coffee. And so therefore you don't have for luxury items. So of course they're going to get hit. That's just pure logic. If you understood Austrian economics, this whole question here is a joke. Now, I do agree with Egon that the government lies and the government says, oh, whatever we want inflation to be, we'll just say it's at 3%, even though it isn't. And the stock market goes up because it's fixed, because they print money and put it into the stock market. They're trying to we're on the Titanic, it's hit the iceberg, and the captain's trying to say, don't worry, everything's going to be fine. Well, wait, the water's coming into the ship. We're going to sink. No, we'll be fine. We're not really going to sink. It's just the water's coming in. The boat can handle the water coming in. Don't worry about it. It won't sink. Even if all the water comes into the boat, we won't sink. We're fine. That's what they're trying to tell you. but we understand what's going on, and we know that's all bullshit. So you can't go there. Anyway, maybe a bad time to do this, as I notice everybody's going to watch the football. So let's end this. I just wanted to show you a little bit of Egon, that the inflation and the money printing is all bullshit. Don't listen to that. It's really not good. Okay, so let's go. I don't know. Let's go watch the football game. We'll talk about this more on Monday. I did well. We got into the pros the other day. So let's end it here. So go Ohio State, go Georgia. Off we go. We got a ton of games. All right, everybody. Have a good day. www.teaserking.com. I got 3 locks, 2 college locks going today. Oregon lock hit, and we got a pro lock tomorrow with the college game. And so far, Oregon wins, Texas wins, Oklahoma over wins, Missouri wins, Memphis wins, and now we're hoping for another big day here. All right, so have a good day. Free picks: Ohio State with the under in the Kansas City Oakland game. Go under. That's your free plays. All right, everybody, have a good day. I don't agree with people that put their picks up. I don't like it. They shouldn't do it, and don't pay any attention to it. This guy is not a handicapper. And I don't want you to get skewed and think, oh, I'm going to bet SMU. It's a good bet. Listen to my analysis on it. I just passed on it. Please don't listen to any of the people on the side. This is supposed to be a class. I'm the teacher. So don't pay attention to anything that these guys say on their picks. It's not. I don't want you to lose money. That's why you're in the class. This guy, if he wants to bet SMU, fine, but I'm not agreeing with that. I don't think it's a good bet. So anyway, have a good day. Good luck to you today, and go Ohio State. I think they've lost 2 in a row. Time to win. Should be a good ball game. Hopefully Michigan doesn't run away with it in the second half like they did the last year, but we'll see. So all we can do is I can only use the Notre Dame game where they won, and I can't use Michigan, Penn State, Michigan, Maryland. If that's the best teams they play, you have no idea. So I don't know Michigan. I don't like McCarthy. I do like their running. I don't know about their defense. Again, giving up 24 to Maryland, they'll probably give up 24 or more to Ohio State. But I see this low-scoring game. All right, everybody. Do you want more? I can see participants. When I see 0, I'm like, okay, but I see 2. I want to be there for you people. So is there any questions or comments? Again, we were watching Egon he's from Switzerland. He's very good. He gives you the actual thing. Basically, gold will go up, silver will go up. The inflation numbers are being fixed by the politicians. They're not real. Anything from the government is not real. Don't pay attention to it. And basically, just buy your gold. Again, you have no risk. You have to get out of the dollar. It's going to 0. As far as inflation is not down, and the market's only up to deceive you into thinking everything's okay. Oh, everybody's in the market. Well, because they're out of the banks. They don't want their money in dollars, so they put it in the stock market. But that's the dollar. So you're really trying to get off the Titanic. You're trying to get out of this. This is worthless. So you're trying to get out of this, and the only spot is gold and silver. You can't go into the euro, the Deutschmark, or the French, the Swiss franc, or the British pound. You can't go into those currencies. They're all inflated. So basically, everything's going to collapse. That's why Russia and China are buying all the gold to keep that in shape there. So keep that in mind, that's what's happening. there is no the boat's sinking. So they can say the boat's not sinking all they want, but the Titanic's hit the iceberg. We've hit the iceberg. It's filling up. The boat sinks. There's no other way around it. And it's the same thing here. The boat's the inflation's there. They printed the money. The debt's huge. It's sinking, and there's nothing that can save it. So they're trying. See, they don't want to look bad, so they try to make up all this bullshit. It'd be like me saying, "Yeah, I won every game." No, I won every game, and I didn't lose the Lion game. No, I won that one. No, I mean, you've got to be honest. They're not honest. They're corrupt as hell. They're run by the banks. So keep that in mind. Understand the government is extremely corrupt right now, and all these people in money, probably mostly the mafia, keeping COMEX low. I was watching Mark McGuire yesterday. And he had some guy on I never heard. Oh, everybody's heard of him. I never heard of the guy. And he's a gold guy. So he's trying to say to the government, well, look at these guys are price fixing gold. Well, the government doesn't care because the government's in on it. It's like going to the mafia saying, yeah, these guys are doing it. They work for us. So it's so stupid. And they just don't get it. They're just so clueless. They don't understand. If we wanted to complain about the refereeing in football, how it's so stupid, who are we going to complain to? You go to the NCAA? They're the ones setting the rules. So you can't go there. The only way to expose COMEX is to go and do what's happening. The Russians and the Chinese are going to compete with them. That's how you blow up COMEX. You can't go to the government. They're the ones doing it. So, you can't go there, so it's really stupid. Anyway, that's what's happening. We'll do this probably Monday when there's no big games on right now. Let's watch the games. And again, I got so many picks coming out of my ears. I got at least, I think, 13, 14 college teasers, 7 or 8 pro teasers. And so far, we haven't lost. So let's hope it continues. Big day yesterday. And again, the big play, we take Ohio State as the dog. In these A versus A matchups, I've been taking the dog, Oklahoma, Texas, Oregon, Washington, and they've been winning. So let's keep going with that. And I think it'll be a close game, so I'm taking the points. Again, don't pay attention to students who are on their own agenda for some reason, and I don't really want you to even pay attention. Just pay attention to me. I'm the teacher, right? I'm the professor. Okay, let's go watch some football. Have a great day. www.teaserking.com. 2 locks going today and a pro lock tomorrow with the Oregon lock that's already won and a lot of plays. So it's a very good weekend. And buy the week for $100, you'll make a ton depending on what you bet, but definitely a great week to buy. All right, everybody. www.teaserking.com. Have a nice day. Enjoy. Go Ohio. Beat Michigan. All right. Take care, everybody.